As many of you may have deduced, I like Peter Jackson movies, as long as they're under 2 hours. Any more than that, and he's just showing his ass. In 1987, Peter Jackson released a movie called Bad Taste, and it goes something like this. There's this village in New Zealand where 99.9% of the population just up and disappear. So like 45 people and a dog just vanish. This prompts Dr. Claw to call in the boys. The boys consist of Barry, Derek, Ozzy, and Frank. New Zealand's answer to the A-Team, one would assume. When they get to said village, they discover that a few of the stragglers are a little hostile, in kind of a zombie way, but like zombies if they were smart as a toddler. So grown zombie toddlers? Oh yeah, and there's a lot of blood in this movie. Like, a lot of blood. Anyway, while Barry tumbles with the zombie toddler people, Derek is on the radio with him talking about how it's aliens and how he saw it in the sky. But Derek is crazy and decides to torture one of the ZTPs he has at the end of a rope, also played by Peter Jackson. So Peter Jackson drives a bayonet into the foot of Peter Jackson, prompting Peter Jackson to wail in distress and call in the alien zombie Herp Brigade. So these guys dispense weapons and rush up the hill to take out PJ Derek, and he's like, nope. But the derp zombies have the power of slapstick, and eventually Peter Jackson leaps out of the bushes and pushes the other Peter Jackson to his comedic demise. Farewell, Derek, you crazy shit. Enter Ozzy and Frank in a bitchin' muscle car. You can tell that they're the cool guys by their heavy metal music and half-smoked cigars. Hey, did that rhyme? They're on their way to pick up Barry and Derek and find out that the car has one seat too many. Too soon? No. Screw Derek. While on their way to the rendezvous, Barry spots a tax man being harassed by Peter Jackson and informs the guys. The tax man gets leather-faced by the big Bubba alien chef guy. You know what, his name's Cookie. Cookie puts a tax man in a huge pot on low heat so that Lord Crumb, seriously his name, can monologue him about how his planet thinks that humans are delicious and how they have farmed the entire township to make Crumb's Crunchy Delights, which are to be sold in their intergalactic fast food chain. He also tells the taxman that they will be eating him at tomorrow's lunch. Yummy. Lucky for him, the quartet turned trio is about to infiltrate the house. Oh, by the way, Derek is alive. Not in the best shape, but he's alive. Once he pulls himself together and jumps into the greatest car ever. The other guys sneak in as quietly as possible, but are discovered anyway. Good thing the aliens are made out of paper mache full of blood. Frank performs a little alien identity theft and goes to do some recon. Luckily, that decapitated body left no blood on his shirt. Unfortunately for Frank, he replaced the guy who holds the punch bowl while Peter Jackson... You know what? We're skipping this part. So the aliens pass around a punch bowl full of Nickelodeon gack and moving on again. So Frank regroups with the others, they free the tax man, and they kick this movie's action into high gear. Cookie and Ozzy face off, Peter Jackson gets thumbtacked to the wall with a machete, the man suits come off, the chainsaws come out, the rockets fly, and so do the houses. It's just madcap brilliance as only the Kiwis can do it. Now this movie was made over the course of 4 years and filmed only on the weekends with no script whatsoever. Imagine going up to your friends like, hey, I got this great idea for a movie. What are you doing for the next 150 so Saturdays? Now this movie cost 200,000 New Zealand dollars to make, and I don't know if that's a lot or not. Is it like yen? Because if so, this movie was made for like 20 bucks and some change. And I could believe it. For one thing, none of the guns were real. They were all made out of wood, and all the muzzle fire was added in post-production. Peter Jackson even made the masks himself, cooking them off in his own oven, which is why their heads are so oddly shaped. The whole thing was shot on 16mm, and was Peter Jackson's love letter to indie American horror movies like The Evil Dead. It knows what it is and it revels in it. The over-the-topness of it is what keeps you laughing, along with all the wonderful slapstick artistry. Plus, it's just fun to think that the director of this gore-laden laugh fest is now an Oscar winner.
Da derp de derp da diddly derpy derpy derp.